Okay, it is about to be time. Check, check. YouTube. What's up? It's been a while. CiceroMode here, gonna try another stream. Trying to move my vlogs over here live, as well as doing the shorts. So bear with me. I'm gonna run through a few of my opens here on YouTube, and then get my IG going and do some opens on that, and then we're gonna get started. Okay. Practice runs or runs that are real. Like this. All right. What's the word? What you heard? CiceroMode here for vlog 193. This week, I'll talk about my upcoming DJ set at Where's Rufus. It's a Wednesday. Also, Hot D, second episode, talk about that. And I'll recap my wedding from the weekend and a little collaboration that I had to work with. Want to hear more? Keep watching. Yeah. All right. Let's do another one. What's the word? What you heard? CiceroMode here for vlog 193. This week, talk about the DJ set I've got at Rufus on Wednesday. Also, House of the Dragon episode 2. We'll talk about it. And a little recap of my wedding over the weekend and a collaboration I got to work on. Want to hear more? Keep watching. Not bad. Not bad. All right, I think I know how I want to do it. So we're going to do it. Shout out to YouTube. I'll look over here like the chat is live. And yeah, we're going to do this, man. CiceroMode. Shout out to YouTube, man. Trying to do some more content here. And another weekly vlog. So, going to hit my IG. We're going to roll with it. All right. What's the word? What you heard? CiceroMode here for vlog 193. This week, got a DJ set back at Where's Rufus on Wednesday. Also, Hot D, episode 2. Want to hear about it? I don't like that. We're going to do it again. What is this over here? Current. What? The hell are you talking about? I don't know what this means. All right. As usual, there's always something going on. I ain't got time now. We got to knock this out. What's the word? What you were? Now we're fumbling. All right. Never a dull day on a Monday. What's the word? What you heard? CiceroMode here for vlog 193. This week, I got a DJ set at Where's Rufus. It's Wednesday. Also, House of the Dragon episode 2. We'll talk about it. And I'll recap my wedding from the weekend, including a very cool collaboration. Want to hear more? Keep watching. That's right, CiceroMode creative, music, and media. What I like to create, produce, and promote. And what I talk about on these vlogs every Monday. So back here, downtown Tyler, Innovation Pipeline, vlog 193. I've got YouTube streaming. It's saying something crazy on the screen, but we're going to keep rolling. Got my Instagram stream going here, so we're going to get it going, man. Another week. Hopefully your week has started off well. And it's time. I got to execute this thing here in about 30 minutes. So we're going to get rolling really quick. So, yes, another Monday. Stream 193. Another vlog. Had a pretty busy week getting prepared for a wedding last weekend. So we'll jump into that here pretty quick. Pretty much I had one wedding over the weekend. I was at the Claremore. I talked about it, I believe, on stream last week. And it was, you know, pretty laid back, pretty straightforward for a lot of things. But one new aspect that was tied in with it was I had a violinist that was in the building that was going to be playing for the ceremony. So leading up to that, you know, a couple of weeks out, maybe 2-3 weeks out, I'd already gotten in contact, obviously, with the couple. And I had reached out also to the violinist. Shout out to the man, Rhett Price. Gonna talk a little bit more about him as well. But yeah, talked with him, kind of got an idea of what kind of gear he wanted to bring, how we were gonna work the ceremony. I've done plenty of weddings where there is a quartet or I think I've done some with like soloists. I've done plenty of weddings where I'm kind of helping just run sound for like a smaller band. I know at one point I did a wedding that I was kind of working with. I don't think it was the full band, but part of the Lady Antebellum group. That was pretty cool. So this was kind of a new wrinkle. I was working with a violinist, but he was going to be playing two backing tracks. And what made this pretty interesting was, again, his name is Rhett Price. Make sure y'all check him out on YouTube. He's got some really dope videos. He's up in the Boston area. So what he does, or what he did for this couple, he was actually a cousin of the groom. So what he was ended up doing for this wedding was he took the songs that the couple wanted for the ceremony and kind of recreated them himself. I didn't ask him what DAW he was using for my production heads, but he was pretty much recreating the tracks that they wanted, and then he was playing live over it. So once we kind of got an idea of exactly how, or I got an idea of kind of how he wanted to go about it, it was all about getting him those ceremony tracks, letting him kind of recreate, make these different versions, then, sending those back to the couple to kind of get those confirmed, get them okayed. Then once they were confirmed, sending them over to me, making sure I have them, and, just getting everything kind of plugged into my outline. So it was definitely an interesting week getting prepped for that, kind of waiting for the tracks, making sure everything was good. On my end, I just wanted to have everything else laid out so that once I got the tracks, we were ready to roll. And another thing I added in, because this was something I hadn't done recently, was, there's always rehearsals tied in with weddings, right? Rehearsal dinners. I've done a few in the past, but usually I don't offer them as a service or an option for me to come to the rehearsal dinner. Mostly when I did that in the past, it was because sometimes I'm already booked. Lots of times, if a wedding's on a Saturday or whatever day it is, the rehearsal dinner is usually the day before. And a lot of times when a wedding's on a Saturday, I had another event. A lot of times I had something else going on. So I wasn't able to always be at those rehearsal dinners. So I kind of made it a point to be, not to offer that as, hey, I'll be at the rehearsal dinner, or that's included in your package when you book with me. But I was off on this Friday, so I said, hey, I'm going to go on over. It was at the Claremore, which is very close to me here in Tyler. And since I was available, I was like, I'm going to go on over. I had gotten the new tracks from Rhett. So I was like, I'll go over. I'll be able to play them, be able to play these versions of the songs for the rehearsal. That way, the couple, wedding party, everybody can hear them. We can hear them in the room. And then also just to, double check with the coordinators, double check with the couple on if there were any changes or, any adjustments on where I'm set up, where's the best place for the violinist. So it ended up working out. Again, I don't go to a lot of rehearsals. I've usually just try to do all the planning over the phone, especially if it's venues that I'm already familiar with, which Claremore I'm very familiar with, but still wanted to make sure in this case that everything was good to go. A lot of timing was going to be crucial here for this ceremony, making sure everything flowed the way we wanted it to. So went to the rehearsal, was able to play through these tracks, get the couple an idea of everything, except for the bride's entrance song, because it was kind of a surprise for the groom. So we didn't rehearse that one, but I knew what song it was. I'd prepped it, listened to it. But everything else we did, we were able to go through, get to talk with the officiant, the minister there a day early, and kind of do the same rundown I do the day of a wedding. Just double checking on his cues, what he says for certain parts. So was able to do all that a day early, which was pretty cool. It kind of helped to release some of that, uncertainty, I guess, of the day of working with new officiant, new couple, wedding party, that type of deal. So, but in this case, it was really just to prep everything for this ceremony set up. I was going to be using my bigger mixer to have his wireless receiver for his violin plugged in. We had talked about maybe having a foot pedal. I think at one point we had talked about in-ears. Again, my man Red is from up in Boston, so I know he's done some very big events in places where, in-ears are probably needed. The pedal helps add the vibe, but the Claremore has a lot of acoustics, a lot of great reverb, natural reverb. So I was kind of like, hey, man, I'll let you know there's a lot of reverb kind of naturally in the room. When you get here for sound check, you'll be able to go through everything and kind of see what you think. And because he was coming from Boston, he wasn't necessarily able to come to the rehearsal. He was flying in that day. So biggest thing I wanted to do was just be prepared on my end. And then, once he got there, give him a kind of idea of what things sounded like when we do our sound check the day of. So that was the plan. That's what we were working on doing, and got everything ready at the rehearsal. And then it was time to knock out the main reception, the main ceremony, the wedding day. So everything was ready to go for Saturday. Got there, and another good thing about rehearsal dinners that I forgot about is, I can kind of bring in some of my gear, get unloaded, and get at least, most of my load in done the day before. So maybe changing my tune a little bit on rehearsal dinners over the years. When it's convenient, it definitely can help to just kind of smooth everything over, make things flow a little bit smoother. So I did like that, but was able to have all that ready to go. Rhett was able to get there and get sound checked. I was able to get the minister ready before the ceremony, and ceremony went great. Again, a lot of the prep beforehand, being able to go back and forth with the couple, with the violinist, make sure we were all on the same page, definitely helped out in this case. And we were able to execute this thing. Obviously, thanks to the Claremore, the coordinators there as well, Tara, Peyton, Ryan. We all were able to team up and make this thing happen. So the ceremony was really the biggest thing that, I wanted to make sure we kind of knocked out. Talking with the couple, Shannon and Jackson. Shannon had sent me over a lot of different playlists, or a couple of playlists. Her overall vibe for this was more like a laid-back dinner type vibe for most of the wedding, the dinner and reception. So a little different type of music. Well, not different type of music, but for kind of the majority of the wedding. So as far as dancing, weren't expecting a lot of dancing. Had a wide range of guest ages. So I think that's what led to more of a dinner, chilled type of wedding reception. But I like that as well. Gave me a break from some of the usually played wedding tracks that you hear at receptions, that you hear at all of the dancing parts, all of the line dances. I'm gonna do a little bit of something here. I'm still adjusting, still learning on the go. A little bit brightness on this. But yeah, I was able to pretty much adjust on the fly, play from her request list, the list that she had sent me, utilize that as a basis for what I played, but kind of pick and choose what fit where, still keep the vibe the same, and get to just play some dope stuff. I will say, Shannon, shout out to Shannon. I really like some of her playlists. She had like Snow Allegra on there. I'm a big Snow Allegra fan. There was a track by the Shy Lights, the one that Jay-Z did December 20, what is his birthday? Whatever his birthday is for Jay-Z, the song off of the Black Album, December 23rd, 30, something like that. Whatever. Dope track. I had never sought out the sample. So the one track that we played off of, or one of the songs on her list, the Shy Lights, was actually from that. So that was cool. And yeah, it was just a different vibe, way more chill, mellow than some of the, more upbeat party type of receptions once we get to after dinner, opening up the dance floor. So I enjoyed that. A different vibe. And again, really enjoy being able to work with Rhett Price. So make sure you check him out. Let's see, I've got his YouTube over here. My man Rhett Price, you just spell that R-H-E-T-T Price. Does some really cool stuff, man. He's got some covers. He's got a California Love cover he sent over to me. He's got $1 Million Baby. Y'all all know that song. So really like hearing how he goes about tying in more popular music. As you know, if you didn't know, I grew up playing the violin, more classical. And that was always the thing with me was, I was, very proficient, I think, at violin and playing classical. But I always enjoyed playing by ear. I always enjoyed, kind of embellishing, over tops of tracks, not necessarily very flashy. If you know orchestra, if you know the violin, you kind of have first violins and second violins. I really kind of enjoyed second violin more because I guess to compare it to guitars, if you know more about bands, second violin is more like the rhythm guitar instead of the lead guitar. So you're adding, different harmonies to stuff. You're adding kind of the lower octave, whereas the lead guitar or first violins are getting to do the fancy stuff. We'll just say it like it is. They get to do the runs, they get to do the flashy stuff, and that was just something I never gravitated to, or to be honest, I was just never that good at. So it's really cool to see somebody that kind of ties in both. He's able to play by ear. He's able to add some of the flash and flair of the first violin or a lead violin, but still be able to recreate, songs, make a complete backing track using, the original, go in, re-record it, make it sound his own, and then come back and kind of add, that vibe, add the flash and the flare on top. So really, that's what he was doing at the wedding. He's able to have the bass track so everybody can recognize the song, and then he comes in live and he just adds the flair, man, adds the enjoyable things to it, just the embellishments that really give that live element to the performance. So again, shout out to Rhett Price. He's up in the Boston area, but I was like, man, we definitely got to stay in touch. And yeah, check out his stuff. I'm gonna have I'm gonna link him in this, and I'll also link him on YouTube. But that was a great experience. Again, getting to collaborate, chop it up, talk a little bit to another fellow violinist. He's doing big things. He's got some great, again, content and reach. And he was saying that he's really been getting reached out to a lot to work with rappers these days. So I was like, hey man, that's what's up. Hip hop, I'm working on some new music always. So hopefully we'll be able to collaborate in the future. But that was really the main thing going on at my wedding over the weekend. Want to give another congratulations and a shout out to the Massies, Shannon and Jackson. Thank you guys for allowing me to be part of your special day. I really enjoyed it. Another shout out to Rhett for collaborating, making that ceremony flow and be a very cool experience. And yeah, I've got a little bit of time off now from weddings. I've got kind of a similar something coming up at a wedding in a bit, but that's a ways off. So right now, I'm going to be able to kind of switch focuses, work on some different things, some different collaborations, and I'm excited for those. So that was what I had on Saturday. Besides that, been getting ready for some other things this week. I'm back at Where's Rufus for all my East Texas Tyler folks. I do my every other week Where's Rufus set. Got some very creative things, some very cool events coming up for this summer Rufus session. So collaborations, again, getting the collab bug for sure. So be on the lookout for that. But I'll be there this week, holding it down. Probably a solo set, might have a pop-up. Don't think I have a guest, but I've got some very cool collabs, very cool guests coming up at Where's Rufus in the future. So come through this week, catch me do my thing. The last couple of weeks we've been very sports oriented because we had the NBA finals going on at my last one. And before that, we had NHL, the Stars. Mavericks were the NBA portion. But yeah, so going to be just kind of taking it back to just me doing a DJ set this week, getting prepped for some very creative things the rest of the summer there at Rufus. So excited about that. Also, just been getting some calls about some other events, some other opportunities. So really just gearing up, man. It's the summertime, official summertime now, the solstice era, whatever you want to call it. So be on the lookout is all I can say. I'll have a flyer up for my Where's Rufus event very, very soon for this Wednesday. And again, that's at 8:30, 21 and up. Got to have your ID, please. And 21 and up, no cover charges, a more other important thing. And we just vibe out. I take requests, I play mashups, edits, and we just have a good time. Sports bar type of vibes, you know what I mean? Sports music, upbeat, and a little bit of all genres. So that's where I'll be this Wednesday. And besides that, been back on the beats a little bit, man. Working on some production, a few tracks that I was working on for some content that I've been sending out to a few people, content creators, and then got reached out also to by another beat maker about maybe a collaboration in the future, as well as some tracks I'm making that I'm going to be sending out to some studio musicians. So again, that's why it was cool to work with Rhett Price, the violinist, because that's really where I'm trying to go here in the future with production and music composition, is where when I'm working on beats or working on composition, I can kind of lay down my loose ideas, whether it's a bass or a guitar or some strings. And then, being able to have people I know that are way more proficient in these instruments that I can reach out to recreate, to replay, not necessarily, but, add their own to it, have them kind of a reference track. A sketch is what I call it. I don't know if any other producers call, beats that they're not unfinished beats or unfinished music. Lots of times, if it's just kind of an idea that I know I'm going to send over to somebody else, I kind of call it just a sketch. So one of my art friends that also is a content creator was like, "Oh, you're doing art now? You're drawing?" And I was like, "No, I draw music. I don't draw. I can't draw a circle." Was always my joke. I'm not very good with the drawing. But I don't know. Maybe I could get into some abstract art at one point. But yeah, I don't draw. I don't sketch per se. And if I say I'm sketching or I've got some new sketches, it's just some new beat ideas or new concepts, usually revolving around music first and then adding all the other elements. So be on the lookout, man. That's why I'm trying to finally get this YouTube figured out so I can start doing some more lives, kind of some studio sessions is what I want to do when I can get the studio musicians in to recreate, to be able to record it, bring it to this live, do a little bit more with the vlog, and see where we can go, man. So that's kind of the next thing on the horizon, man. Collaborations. I was definitely, my head was down working on a lot of weddings and a lot of planning with that, a lot of just odds and ends on the wedding business side. So the music collaborations had kind of fallen by the wayside, man. And when they do, I can feel it. I can feel myself wanting the yearning to work on music again or to get more creative. But sometimes you're just, so tired or a little bit burnt out. But it's summer, it's hot, so the vibes are coming back, man. The energy's coming back, and I'm excited about that. So that's really the biggest thing with the collaborations. Now, music is always great, but I'm trying to be entertaining on these vlogs, as entertaining as I can be. I'm a nerd, so we got to keep it on nerdy stuff. Shout out to my friends at the lore level. We've been talking about The Boys over there. We've been talking about, of course, House of the Dragon. And that's what time it is. It's time for House of the Dragon Episode 2, Season 2 review. All right? So, we're here now. Episode 2, House of the Dragon. Talked about what all went down last week. There was a lot of talk about this this shocking ending to the first episode of House of the Dragon. Oh, and if you didn't know, this is probably the spoiler portion of the vlog, okay? So I tried to leave it to the end. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, be prepared, take a break, come back and watch the rest of the vlog after you watch it. But yeah, so last week there was a lot of buzz about this shocking ending. And it's a week, so you should know what happened. There was a death to a young child in the royal family. And, it shook everybody to their core, seeing this kind of played out, or hearing it play out, I guess is a better way, live. So what I saw throughout the weeks, it ties into The Boys a little bit, was just these two episodes having very shocking endings, and, they happen so close together. Now, me and The Boys, I'm not too big a fan of it, but I did watch that episode. I mean, it's the Homelander show, is the way I look at it. I'm not a fan of really any of the other characters. Homelander holds it down, and he does his thing in that episode. I still like that House of the Dragon episode 1 better, because I just like the overall story of everything going on more than The Boys. So, sorry for all The Boys people out there, but I don't really like that show that much, but Homelander's dope. But yes, episode 2 here of House of the Dragon, we'll get into that. There's a lot going on. Obviously, Rhaenyra gave the instructions to go get Aemon, and these assassins that they hired went and actually didn't find Aemon and ended up killing a child, trying to still get this son for a son thing off. So we jump right in, and it's just pretty much everybody, dealing with that, coping with what happened. You see all these people in, I don't know, but by names, the Red Keep, I believe is what they call it, right? Being kind of rushed out, which was pretty cool, I guess. I guess if there is like a murderer or something in the castle, you gotta, whatever, get everybody out so that they can kind of do some detective work. But it was, it's pretty chaotic, to see all these people. They were just kind of, kind of herding them down the stairs, herding them out, or, kind of questioning a lot of different people about what was going on. Where were you? So it was a lot of confusion to start the episode, but that was great. I think it really showed how much that affected everybody. Then we go to our king, Aegon, young Aegon here, who's looking like he might be the MVP of this season early. I'm telling you, last season he definitely came off like, kind of a man-child, or just somebody that really didn't want any part of this whole Game of Thrones royalty thing, but he's kind of forced into it, being the firstborn. But he's adding his own things to things now. He's adding his own flair, his own flash, and he's a little more hot-headed. Like I said, he seemed like he would be hot-headed in season 1, but then seemed like he might be a little more even-keeled. But in a situation where your child has been assassinated in your own house, hey, I can't blame him for being a little bit upset. So he goes, he goes full whatever you want to call it. He's destroying his father's, throughout season one, we see the dad building this huge, pretty much recreation of Valyria, kind of where the Targaryens and all of that begins. And he's just taking a sword to it. He's just chopping it up, ripping through everything pretty much, and yelling out, "I declare war." He is ready to declare war because of what has happened in his own castle, in his own, under his nose pretty much. So can't fault the guy for being that upset. You gotta try to be more, I guess, regal or more of a king, but he's just letting it loose. And I think that's what you get to understand is this guy wears his emotions on his sleeve, and I guess rightfully so in this case. So we kind of follow through that. There's a few more questionings of people. One thing I didn't notice from the last episode is that when the wife comes in, kind of letting the maidens know that they killed the boy, spoiler alert or whatever from the first episode, but we've got Miss Hightower, Alicent's in bed with your boy, Kristen Cole. We're going to talk about him a lot more, obviously, too. So as they're questioning everybody, that comes up. Hey, Christian Cole, you're supposed to be the head of head of all my knights. You're the head of security. Where were you at? Oh, I was taking a nap. I was asleep. Oh, really? Okay. That's what you want to say, huh? So and Alicent kind of gives him a look when he's getting questioned of like, well, what you going to say? So he doesn't spill the beans. But there's still that tension of both of them knowing that they're somewhat responsible because they were doing what they were doing instead of handling business, or at least Christian Cole, and then Alicent she just doing stuff she shouldn't be doing. So I think that's starting to weigh on her. But all through that, we've got Daemon over here, who is the one that kind of went out and or the other side, I'm sorry, Rhaenyra, their kind of family is going through this as well on the other side across the bay, as Aegon says, and they're questioning their people. Who allowed this? Why are people thinking that Rhaenyra, ordered this killing of a child? Who would have done that? And it's just kind of funny because Daemon's just sitting there like, don't say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Although he's the one that ordered the killing of Aemon, but they got the wrong one. So in private, though, they get into a very heated discussion. That is Rhaenyra and Daemon, and it felt very Shakespearean, I will say. Great acting from both of these actors as they kind of just go through their entire family history or their relationship history of how Rhaenyra was just, pretty much enamored by Daemon when she was, a younger child or whatever you want to put it, very teen, which was kind of sketchy in the first season. Like, man, come on, bro. But he played it up. He made her kind of, fall in love for him or be infatuated with him. And then when it was time to use that to try to gain more access to the throne or to get more power, that's what Daemon did. After the death of his first original wife, which that kind of threw me off, but then it got me back on. So after all of that, here we are. We've got, upset both sides, the Hightowers and Targaryens. Everybody is upset about how this unfolded. And on the Hightower side, we've got Otto Hightower. His advice for the king is, all right, your son is dead, so let's parade him through the streets to try to win some favor from the people. Anybody that was still on Team Rhaenyra, Team Targaryen coming back to get this throne, let's let it be known that Rhaenyra sent out assassins to kill a child, right? And that's not exactly what happened, but from a political standpoint, he feels like that's the best way for them to be able to spin this and to gain favor with the public. So takes a little bit of convincing, but eventually they cave. That is Alicent and her daughter. So they're going to be, kind of the women in mourning. The way he explains it is we need to see the fairer people, meaning the wives or the women up here, kind of crying. So it's all theater. And as sketchy as it sounds when he's explaining it, it's even sketchier when it unfolds. They're going through the city. There's people throwing kind of flowers. They got the little kid on like a little, at first I thought it was going to be like a coffin, but it's pretty much he's on top of the coffin so everybody can see that, it's a small child that is dead. They did something where they tried to put his neck back on, but like it's on a wagon so you can see like the head is moving separately from the body. That's That's crazy too. But yeah, so it just unfolds as bad as you would think. They got these knights out there that instead of giving any kind of recognition of even the child, it's more like this is what Rhaenyra did. She's the killer of the babies, and she's the, you know, trying to take over the throne, and she's the worst. Just it's just propaganda. Just all of it was just to get these people to be on Team Hightower, right? Uh, Sketchiest part of that whole scene is like the wagon gets like stuck in a pothole, right? And so then all of the people are able to get closer. You realize they aren't really even concerned about that. They just like, we hungry. Like, we're the poorest people here in the kingdom. Can we get some food? We get your babies up here. So the Alicent, her daughter, they're kind of starting to freak out, of course, being too close to the common folk and their problems, while they're trying to spin and do this political game. But I think it affects them both. And we're going to see how that reflects or what that means moving forward. So we do all of that. Let's see. I'm still looking at these notes, but I've been going pretty good here. Aegon is still freaking out. He's wilding out. He wants blood. So they've been able to find one of the two assassins. Before getting the whole story, all he really gets is that from this one guy is that I was with a rat catcher, and we were supposed to go in and kill. I don't even think they bring up if it was supposed to be Aemon or anything. I think he just tells him, it was me and a rat catcher. So Aegon, in his very, kind of, whatever you want to call it, loose cannon way, pretty much says, all right, well then go out and kill all the rat catchers in the kingdom, I guess. So they do that. It's a big spectacle again. So we get two of these huge spectacles, first of a child, then all the people getting to see these rat catchers dead in public. A lot of people are there mourning. You can tell that it's just family members, and it's a lot of people that died that weren't supposed to, and they're all just common people, the small people, as one of the characters later in the episode kind of brings up, that are affected the most by all these royal squabbles. So this is kind of it for Otto. Finally, Otto has a moral dilemma. We've been through a lot, and this dude's just been flipping sides, doing whatever he thinks is going to get him ahead. But he's had enough. So we get another very great acted scene from the Otto Hightower actor. I'll give him some props, where he's just letting Aegon know how big of a mistake this was, because all of the, he kind of phrases it, and this is kind of political, but all of the favor that they were able to gain from, doing this big theatrical funeral procession, they lost by Aegon coming back and killing some of the peasants, the rat catchers. So he's pretty much fed up. It is his grandson, so he's kind of giving him the, hey, clean up your room, you got to do better type of speech. But Aegon's not having it. He's like, hey, you are my dad's homie, you are my dad's hand, you want my hand, so your hand duties are over. And so the interesting thing with this was, I know in the first episode, I can't remember his name. What is he called? The Rat, or he's called something? The other brother that's kind of like the little finger of House of the Dragons, right? Who kind of is keying him in. He even hinted to Aegon, hey, you need a different hand, man. You need a better hand. So he kind of put it in his ear. So I was like, all right, well, he's gonna have already planned to make him the next hand, but instead he makes who I'm gonna call JJ Redick his hand. Okay, he is gonna promote Christian Cole to his hand, aka JJ Redick. All right, if y'all know what I mean, JJ Redick is now the coach of the Lakers. Kind of reminds me of this whole situation. I don't think Christian Cole has any political or any kind of administrative experience, right? But he has been promoted to the most important, the number 2 in the entire kingdom. All right, so very similar to the Lakers. We got JJ Redick coming in, no experience. I'm going to say LeBron is the king. Makes a lot of sense. You feel me? And yeah, so now you got Christian Cole, a.k.a. JJ Redick, as your hand. So this is going to go horribly, just like I'm guessing, or I'm going to predict, as a lot of people are, that this JJ Redick hire for the Lakers is going to go horrible. So JJ Redick is now the hand right before, and I think really the reason he gave it to him maybe over the other guy is in his really kind of projection, kind of trying to get his own conscience cleared as far as Christian Cole. He goes to one of those two twins. I'm not too versed in the twins, but we're going to have to talk about them too. um, and pretty much, bodies him up. It's kind of like, hey man, you got some dirt on your white cape back there, or your white cape. What's the deal with that? That's supposed to be pure, man. You're supposed to be pure. What's wrong with you? But we know what Christian Cole's been doing, right? He's been doing all the impurities with Allison, right? Shout out to Kev on the stage and Tony Baker. They got a very funny skit about that one scene from last episode. You know the one I'm talking about with Christian and Allison. So yeah, he's just kind of riling him up. It just seems like projection, but he kind of had some tact in it. He's like, hey, you got a twin brother and he's over there with them. What you gonna do about it? Pretty much. And he's like, if you're really down with us, you're gonna have to do something to prove it. So Christian Cole's first administrative plan, this shows you, this JJ Redick, his first plan is, all right, we're gonna play the classic twin game, right? We're gonna get you to act like the other twin, and you need to go over and kill Rhaenyra. And the other guy's like, how am I gonna do that? It's a whole castle. I can't get in there. And he's like, you're gonna have to act like your brother. You got a twin. Go over there, act like your twin, get in there and kill Rhaenyra. And the guy's kind of forced to do it. He has no choice to do it because, Christian Cole is still his superior, but he's not quite the hand yet. But either way, the plan is in action. I think Christian then goes and tells the king, Aegon, hey man, I got this assassination plan popping off. What you think about that? I'm really good, huh? So again, this is what makes him become first in line to be the hand. So continuing on through the episode, I can't remember this chick's name, but the helper of Damon, it was his ex girl, was kind of the inside spy throughout, playing both sides. She's still captured with Rhaenyra and everyone. They have kind of a back and forth about how women are abused, or they don't have any say in a lot of things. How she thought being this kind of spy mistress would be able to help her gain favor on one side, but it really hasn't done anything for her. So she's over it, right? And we don't know if Rhaenyra's just going to kill her or believe her or what. But Rhaenyra says, all right, that was a pretty cool explanation there. I don't know if she meant that, or if she was just kind of they were having a, woman to woman talk, and that's what made her come around, or if she was playing a game. But she seems sincere about it. And at the end of the episode, or towards the end of the episode, she says, all right, you can go ahead and leave. We're going to put you on a boat. You can go wherever you want to go. And, I guess have a great life, So on her way out, though, what does she see? She sees the other twin, because she's been dealing with the twin that is on Team Rhaenyra, right? She pretty much has been talking with him, and she had mentioned earlier, last time there was two of you, so she knows there's twins. So as she's getting down to the bay, or down to the shore, she sees the twin coming back up towards the castle, which tells her that's the other twin, and that's the twin that's on the other side. So that was a pretty cool scene. She kind of realizes it. We all realize it. I will say that was very fast. Usually, in Game of Thrones, this is House of Dragons. Game of Thrones, there was the jet packing theory, where sometimes they travel very long distances very fast. So yeah, I don't know the exact distance between the two kingdoms, but she realizes either way, this is the other twin. So she kind of tells the guy that's escorting her, like, hey, hold up a bit. I gotta do something. So again, I think that's putting her right back in there where she knows that she can gain favor if she helps out, if she saves Rhaenyra or whatever this plan is. So the one twin is going through the castle doing his thing, trying to get closer to Rhaenyra. I'm thinking that Missandra, what is her name? Missandra? Something like that, with an M. But I think she went and alerted the other brother, the other twin, that, hey, your twin is here. He's about to do some dirt. So as the evil twin, the Hightower twin, is able to make it up to Rhaenyra's quarters and get inside, that's when the other twin arrives, and we got Spider-Man situation now, right? Two people, they're pointing, who's the real one, who's the good one, and they have an all-out fight in Rhaenyra's quarters, which was pretty intense. I will say that. I don't know what Rhaenyra was doing. Seemed like she should have ran out of the room. I was just like, while they're fighting, run out. And she kind of just cowered in the corner. Her little handmaidens were able to run out. But she's stuck in this room, kind of witnessing it all. There's some help that comes, but everybody's just witnessing. They just letting them have it. Now, it's a family squabble, but it's a family squabble to the death. So as all this is unfolding, I'm really just like, man, if the wrong one wins, if the one that is not Team Rhaenyra Team Blacks doesn't win, then what are you gonna do? If he wins, he can just lie and say, "Hey, I was the other twin, right? I'm still on y'all's side. I killed the assassin that was sent here to whatever," and he can just lay up until he has a perfect opportunity to finish the deed. So that's kind of what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, man, if that, we won't know. So that's what's gonna play out for a lot more of the season. Is this, which twin is it? But ends up one of the twins gets the upper hand, kills the other one, and so I'm like, man, I bet it's the other one. But the second after he's done, he just kills himself, which means it was actually the one that was loyal to Rhaenyra that won the fight, but he couldn't live with himself, killing his own brother, killing his own twin. And yeah, he falls on his own sword, which is very epic. But at the same time, it was kind of like, all right, well, that's cleared up then. We ain't got to worry about it, But I don't think that's what Rhaenyra was thinking in the moment. But for me, there was some of that, like, okay, well, that's not where the plot is going. We don't have to worry about that. It's just another tragic family-related death, which is also hits pretty hard, I will say. But I kind of like how that looked like it's where things were going. We're going to have Spider-Man situation, but it was kind of all cleared up in a tragic way, though. So that kind of was the last big climax of the episode. Besides that, we're just getting ready for what's coming next, man. We got Aemon. He's over there kind of sad with his mistress, telling her what's going on. That's who was telling him, hey, when y'all are having these royal fights, the small folks are the ones that are affected. The small folks are the ones that ended up taking the brunt of the sorrow and the loss. And that's exactly where we are right now. So besides that, there's a small scene with the blacksmith that was brought up last episode about, hey, we need some more steel. So somehow that's going to tie in more. But the biggest things to take away are, again, Otto Hightower is out. Alicent kind of talks to him about what he could do, how he could lay up until maybe he can come back and be the hand again. And then she kind of wants to admit to him that, hey, I've been doing some dirt with Christian Cole, a.k.a. J.J. Redick. But I think, Otto being a smart guy probably already knows that. And instead of like making her admit it, he's just like, you don't have to tell me anything about it. So that pretty much wraps up the episode, man. We end off with that. There should be some interesting things coming up next. I'm not necessarily one to watch the, coming up next episode, so I didn't watch the preview for the next one. But overall, I will give episode 2, season 2 of House of the Dragon, I'm going to give it a B-. I'm going to go down a little bit from the last one. I do like this one. It didn't seem as epic of a climax. I did like the kind of twin battle and how that kind of cleaned itself up. And I did like how Aegon is being portrayed again as not necessarily a wild king, but a guy that still has got to get his. He's ready for war, as obviously Daemon is. Last thing we see from him is him flying off on his weird-looking dragon with the long neck. And I think they said he's going to Harrenhal, or is that how you say it? Anyway, I do very loose renditions, reviews of House of the Dragons. I'm just now getting more into this whole Game of Thrones lore. But go over and add the lore level, man. We got an Instagram page on Facebook, the lore level, LORE level. We'll be talking more about House of the Dragons, getting some memes up. I'm going to run with this J.J. Redick, Christian Cole thing because I think it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, J.J. Redick, Christian Cole now at a hand. What do you think about that? Will Christian Cole make a good hand, or how long will he be the hand? I feel like at some point he's going to have to get out of there so this other more manipulative little finger type of character can get it back. Otto Hightower, I don't see him coming back in to be that role now, but I'm sure he's still going to be manipulating something some way. At least at minimum, Alicent from afar, his daughter. He still can tell her some things. Might not be able to tell the grandson much, but she seems to still fall victim to whatever his manipulations are, as that's where it all started. Hey, go get with this old dude so we can jump ahead and, usurp the queen. And that's where we are. So B- for this House of the Dragons episode. I did enjoy it, but we'll see. I want some more dragons action. We got about 2 shots of some dragons in this one. So I'm sure we'll have some more dragon battles coming up very soon, and I'll be ready to watch that. And that's going to wrap up this episode, man. Done with vlog 193. Again, I will be at Where's Rufus this Wednesday doing a regular DJ set. Every other Wednesday I'm there. I'm there this week doing my thing. Got some exciting things in the works there coming up. And be on the lookout for some new music, some new content, flyer for that, and a lot more. So hopefully you guys are having a great Monday. Hopefully your week has started off well. And we'll be back here next week, man, for vlog 194. So again, man, Cicero Mode, I'm out. We'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.